Governor Newsom, with your help, this could be the future of Slab Town. Do you leave it as it is, a homeless encampment in the desert, or do you sell it to a developer who will put up condos? Vacation condos won't get rid of the tents lining the streets. The homeless need the land more than the rich. The rich stole half the wealth, and now they want the other half. Isn't this a better option? Proper homes that are cool in the summer and warm in the winter. A real community where families and children can thrive. Isn't this a better life, rather than cramming families into essentially prison work camps? You can't jail someone without a trial unless they are poor. When did being poor become a crime? When did losing your job become a crime? On top of providing housing, we will provide food and energy free to all residents. Between years 5 and 10, we will add healthcare and retirement facilities. This isn't about simply warehousing people, but providing them with a good quality of life. By year 5, everyone will receive a basic income of $10,000 a year, so we will be turning them back into taxpayers, and we will supply all support, taking that burden away from the state. With the over 600 acres available, we can feed, house, and provide jobs for 7,500 people. That's 4% of the homeless people taken off the streets permanently for the price of a little land few could ever want. You currently spend $25 billion a year on the homeless in California, so this gift of land could save California $1 billion a year. I'd call that a solid investment in the future of California. What the government appears to be proposing is a series of work camps and work houses, much like in England during the 1800s. These camps would be prisons, but worse, because there would be no time limit on your sentence and little hope of escape. It would be slavery modernized and sanitized, but still slavery. Never forget, if you lose your job and fall behind on your rent or house payments, you could become one of these people. If you support the idea of work camps, do you still support them if you were forced to live in one of these camps? I can only see one solution to the constant harassment the community would face from the police. We apply for reservation status so the towns can self-govern. The police would be citizens who know their neighbors and not some cop trying to make quota or some bully with a badge looking for some fun. These people have suffered enough. Leave them in peace. Instead of giving them tanks and bayonets, we make the police less threatening. Make them what they should be. Helpful citizens, prepare for the worst, but assume the best. Treat everyone with respect, and they'll respect the police. It's insane that mothers and fathers are both expected to work at least 40 hours each a week, and yet no provisions are made for childcare. When I was growing up in the 60s and 70s, babysitting teens might be paid a few dollars for the night, and an adult taking care of children during the day might only make $5 or $10. The internet says $16 an hour for babysitters. How can you pay $16 an hour when you are making $12 an hour working retail or fast food? Our government moans about the poor, struggling billionaires needing their tax breaks, while people working 2 or 3 jobs have to pay $16 an hour for childcare. Has the country lost its mind? America is the only first world country that doesn't provide healthcare, and we pay the highest drug prices in the world. The government has turned its back on the average American, so it's up to us to take care of ourselves and each other. Healthcare will be free to all citizens. The very young and the very old are marginalized in this country and are not treated with the respect they deserve. Our seniors work hard for 40 or 50 years. Then if they are lucky, they get crammed into places that resemble prisons and are barely fed and get only institutional food. My own mother went through it and it was agony to watch. There were no options and I still had to pay $2,500 a month for conditions I considered barely tolerable. Lady Liberty was forced to put a paper bag over her head to hide her shame. All food is free to citizens, but it's a working farm. So what does everyone else pay? $1 a pound for all fruits and vegetables. Meat prices will vary at around 4 ounces for $1 to $5 for a chicken and say $10 for a whole rabbit or duck. The goal is to keep food affordable to average consumers by getting rid of the middleman. I recently did the math, and commodity prices on apples are less than $1.60 a bushel, while we pay $6 a pound for apples. If the farmer received all the money, they would be making $300 a bushel instead of less than $2 a bushel. If farmers made 25 cents a pound, it would double their gross. We can make a lot of money at $1 a pound, so why are supermarkets charging $6 a pound? You've heard of breeding like rabbits? A single pair of rabbits can produce 160 billion rabbits in just 7 years. Now, explain to me why anyone is hungry? That's 3 rabbits per person each week forever, and rabbits eat grass. Each quarter-acre microfarm would produce 100,000 pounds of fish a year. So 100 microfarms on each 200-acre farm would produce 10 million pounds of trout a year. Any idea what 10 million pounds of trout are worth? Beehives are money machines with honey running $10 a pound. One hive can produce 50 to 150 pounds of honey a year. The near-term plan is for 100, then eventually 1,000 hives. The farms would produce chickens, pigs, ducks, turkeys, quail, and trout as cash crops with cattle and sheep raised for the citizens. The towns would include shops to provide whatever the citizens need. If you want a morning muffin and coffee or food to cook, there would be a shop for every purpose. If you need a new set of dishes, a basket, or a new pair of boots, there's a shop to support your needs. From a bakery to a butcher's shop and dress shop, the towns will have all the basics of life. Best of all, leave your money at home, because everything is free to citizens. Take what you need and leave the rest. There are no jobs. Being a baker or potter or weaver is simply what you do to contribute to the town's health and economy. Be kind, don't be lazy, and don't be greedy. Those are all the rules we'll ever need. The goal was to build structures that are cheap, fast, and required little energy for heating and cooling. The obvious choice was to bury them, and the original plan called for 20-foot deep holes. Then a brainstorm happened. Build on the surface, then backfill between the structures. This approach changed everything. The houses would start out as 2-story round houses with a 30-foot dome on top. Once all the structures are finished, the area would be covered in soil, burying the structures. The 2 below-ground levels would stay a constant 50 to 60 degrees year-round, so little or no heating and cooling would be needed. False windows and artificial sunlight would avoid the basement feeling in the bedrooms. Once finished, retaining walls can be built around the structures with a 10-foot spacing, so once filled with soil, the entire system would be underground and have a roughly 50 to 60 degree year-round temperature. It's a way to build underground without digging. Using soil cement, 100% of the water is retained. Then wells and even ancient step wells can be used to access the water. After the soil cement is added, gravel, sand, and charcoal and organic matter is used to create a sponge and reservoir 20 foot down. The step wells can be used to directly access the lowest point in the system, so 100% of the water can be used. Pumps in cisterns also access this water resource. With only 5 inches of rain in Slab City, we need to catch every drop. This water is mainly used in the fish ponds and the greenhouses. Rainwater from the greenhouse roofs is used for potable water. The water in the cisterns is safe as a drinking water backup if it's filtered properly. By covering cisterns with geodesic domes, the runoff water is also potable. But the water in the cistern is from the groundwater system, but run through sand and charcoal layers so safe. The bottom gravel layer is limestone to keep the water from developing bacteria by keeping it highly alkaline. 2 water sources in one. Everything is efficiency on top of efficiency. By building above ground, then backfilling later, it opens an ocean of possibilities, like raising vast quantities of mushrooms under ideal conditions. The underground tunnel system can be used to transport goods and people. The tunnels will connect the greenhouses and dome homes through their lowest level. Exciting options like vast root cellars and storerooms can be easily added. All plumbing, electrical, and communications lines can be run through the tunnels for easy access. In addition to the tunnels, underground greenhouses called walapinis can be added to each microfarm, drastically increasing the available grow spaces. The backbone of the system are the microfarms, which produce trout as well as chickens and eggs in commercial quantities, making them mini moneymakers. But with 100 per town, they form one of the largest sources of income for the community. It's a myth that cows are grazers. Cows are browsers who prefer leaves. Why force them to eat grass and corn when trees are healthier and cheaper? Lucerne and moringa trees will form the bulk of the cow's diet, which would be supplemented with sprouted barley along with treats of fruits and vegetables to give them a varied diet unheard of in modern agriculture, making healthier animals. And far healthier meat that is high in fatty acids. Instead of treating homeless people like criminals, treat them like people. When I grew up, the police were your friend. Wouldn't you rather have a cop in a Hawaiian shirt than a jackbooted thug harassing you for doing 1 mile over the speed limit? Governor, be the hero this country and state needs. This can be the future for thousands for a tiny investment of land, equipment, and cash. These people need hope and a future, not handouts and promises. One day we'll fix this mess. Well, that day can be today with your help. Handouts are flushing the money down a giant toilet. Just imagine in 5 years, we can take 7,500 people off the streets and free up $1 billion in savings to the state. Off that seed money, the farm profits with $10 Patreon memberships and maybe a documentary series, we can house all 185,000 homeless in 10 years. Name another plan that has any hope of achieving this goal? Just imagine what you could do with $25 billion you found stuff in the couch cushions after we make the homeless self-sufficient. You can help make all this possible, and maybe for some homeless, this can be their future. A bright future we can build together.